You're welcome, Jocelyn and Martin. We will wait for the top of the hour before we can begin training. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. We will begin. A good thing is that this will be recorded. So in case any one of us is not able to join in, hopefully they'll be able to catch up with the shared recording. But without wasting a lot of time, I would request that we begin so that we are able to fully utilize the time that has been set aside for this. Thank you. I'm going to share my screen. So we decided to repeat this training, and this is because quite a number of us are just joining for the very first time. However, this is something that had started towards the end of last year in October. And we are just going to repeat everything. This is going to be quicker than it was before. And this is because we want to catch up very quickly, given that a good number of us have actually already gotten done with these introductory bits of it. So in this training, we are going to learn how to use R. We're going to learn how to use it for data analysis, especially for the young investigators, for the scientists on this call, for those who are doing their masters or those intending to do their masters, those who are doing their PhDs, or those who are intending to do their PhDs. But also now to the rest of us who don't want to do any of those things or who do not fall in any of those things, we're going to realize that we can still use R for other things. You could be wanting to understand it to improve your business, or to come up with a tool that you can use to predict some of your things. If you're into agriculture, maybe predict when the rain will come, when the sun will come, to help you with the harvesting and the planting. I don't know how you want to use it. You could just want to learn how to code. Never know, knowledge is not toxic, right? And you may never know when you want to ever use it. But also we're in the era where AI is upcoming. There's a lot of things that are coming up, and of course people are threatened that are jobs, what, you know. And in my opinion, I believe that the people who will survive when we get to that point are those who at least know how to build a system, so that you build your own AI tool, or those who actually know how the system is working, because then that means that if it faces some errors, you actually know what the error is, and you're at least in the back end trying to solve those errors. So I do think that, yeah, even then, just have the knowledge. Never know when you'll ever want to use it. Yeah, so on this call, we have quite a number of people for coming in from procurement, for coming in, of course, from the health sector, whichever sector. I may not mention them all, but I still think that this is something you can use. You can use it to build a system to ease, you know, your kind of work, where you automate quite a number of things instead of you having to do so much, right? So you're better off building a system, automate it, and just sit to improve it as it quickly responds to some of the urgent things that you need to work on, but also making sure that you have a perfect, you know, output out there to your boss, to anyone you're working for. All right. Of course, this is the date when the training started, so I maintain that. Believe we are all IDRC members, so you guys have my email addresses and my contacts. So we shall have about 6 to 7 modules, but in this first module, we are basically going to cover the preliminaries, R and statistical programming. We'll get to learn how to get started with R. I have just shared a link to those of us who did not receive my email on how to download R and R Studio. So hopefully we all have R and R Studio on our machines, because we are going to begin with a practical bit in this very first class. Like I said, we are going to try and move faster. We will cover data types and operations, and then vectors and matrices, as well as data frames. Yeah. Allow me just want to close something here. Let's make a note. Okay. All right, and then data frames. So this module here is going to be divided into 2 classes. That is, it's going to be divided into 2 things. That is this class and then next week's class. Okay. So what's the goal? Like I've already said, is we're just going to learn how to use R, and see, for those of us who are into research, who intend to further our, you know, studies to the next level. We usually have those end of year projects, which is mainly research. So you understanding how to at least analyze your own work, but also interpret the results of your own work. It's something that is a skill that you need. So in this class here, we'll learn how to do that. And I believe that at the end of this training, each and every one of us will at least have some knowledge on how to analyze a simple data set, and also communicating those results to anyone. Yeah. So R has quickly become the language of choice when it comes to data analysis, with new many routines from economics and related fields. And during this course, like I said, we're going to learn about the basic R functionality. So we'll learn about, so we're going to begin from the start on how we get the software, the basic things. So we'll have the fundamentals of R, and then from those we'll keep building on. You'd realize that in the very first classes, you'll have to do a lot of work to do certain things. But then as we keep advancing, as the training keeps going on, we shall start to leverage on particular functions within different packages, which then makes our work easier. But the whole point is that you'll at least have learned from the basics so that you get to appreciate the complex bits when we get there. Okay, so we said 6 to 7. The 8th seminar, I think, may not be intended to this group of people. And so in this, we'll learn the basics of our environment and our studio. We'll also learn how to prepare our data using the packages. We will learn the programming techniques and how to manage data sets. We'll get to learn project management. So at one point, we'll have to open up a new project, basically in R, and then we'll get to see the advantages of having a project versus just having a random script or a random, document where you're working at, versus when you have like a project which sort of like makes your work a bit organized. And then we'll get down into the regression analysis. I understand we've all heard about those things. Regression analysis, what, when we're presenting the results, so we'll get to learn about what these are. We'll get to also understand a little bit of the visualization. So to the people who are not into the scientific field, maybe the data visualization tool will come in handy, right? Where we learn at least to visualize some of our things. For example, many of us could be reporting on a monthly or weekly or daily basis. So utilizing this tool to help you in the report generation where you mainly present visuals to the person you're reporting to more than the wordy statements, I think this then becomes a good thing for us to learn. And then we will get down to the advanced regression methods where we will basically be dealing with repeated measures analysis where we have quite a number of data collected on one patient, and then we get to see how we analyze such kind of data with R. Over time, we will be having some exercises. So since we are all working, we're all IDRC staff, I'll request that when an exercise is given, you kindly submit to my email. Because now I'm trying to think about this, email may be overloaded, but maybe over time we'll have to come up with a platform where we can submit this work and I just get to have a quick look at what you have done and see how best to advise you. That's if you've found any challenges. And it will be a good practice to send this work through before the next session, as this will help me at least better understand where the challenges are with the majority of our team. So yeah, let's get started. And maybe before I can begin, so please feel free to unmute yourself and let me know, right? When I'm moving so fast and you feel like you've been left behind, just unmute and maybe tell me I have an error, I'm facing a problem. Please be informed that we shall all pause and at least get to make sure that you're all moving with the rest of the team. So don't sit back when you get errors. The earlier you communicate, the better, because then we're able to let you know what the problem is, but you're also able to learn in real time. Okay. So I believe a good number of us have done some bit of analysis. We have worked with some software, Excel, Stata, SPSS, and maybe the question is, why am I struggling to learn something new? Why should I, learn something new at my age and what and things, all that. Yeah, but the thing is that, yes, I have also used Excel, SPSS, Stata to do some of these things, right? But you get to a point where you cannot do certain things because they are limited. Or at times you're dealing with vast amounts of data. And again, when you're loading that kind of data in that particular software, you get to a point where you reached a limit, like you have so much that this software cannot handle. Yeah, and I've faced such challenges with Stata, but we also know that Excel can handle to a particular level and then we move down to the CSV, which also gets to a particular level and things like that. So we're going to appreciate that unlike these spreadsheet applications like the Excel or the the point and click SPSS software, right? R as a programming language is based around the script file. We are all going to be working in a script. We will learn how to open up our first script. We'll learn how to save it and how we work with it, and realize that with a script, here we are able to write a series of commands that can be performed, right? So, like I said, we shall work in a script. So a script is more or less like a log file interpreter, where we shall be writing our commands, and from those commands, from the script, we shall be able to execute our commands and get to see what the output is. So a script is like, it's like your book where you put your code, right? It's just a book for code, because then you have some other window where you get to see your output. So what are some of the advantages of using programming softwares unlike the spread and, the spreadsheet and then the point and click software that we have been using before? So you realize that when it comes to the data analysis processes, they're reproducible and they're transparent. I'm one person who rarely writes new code, especially if I have done something before. Most of the time, because writing the whole script or writing the whole code, all those lines of code, may take me time. Imagine if I've just received a call and they need a report immediately, and have been given a data set. If I sit down and just code everything from scratch, especially for things that I've always been doing, it becomes tedious, right? First of all, it will be tedious. I'll be like, why am I? Of course, I know what I'm doing, but then it's like, why do I have to keep typing all this? So oftentimes what I do is that I just go to a most recent project maybe that I worked on, and my code is already there. I just do a copy paste, right? And then I just change. If the data set name, the other side was malaria incidents, and maybe I'm now dealing with prevalent cases, or just, just change a few things, the variables, and so I'm able to run. So you realize that most of the code is reproducible. I'm not sure if we have heard of platforms like GitHub. There are times when you're working with something that you're doing for the very first time, but then people have like their code on Git. And so when you just go on GitHub, someone shared their script there. Again, you just copy paste for as long as you know how to interpret what they coded, right? So you're just able to know, oh, here, so they were doing this, and this is what I want to do. So you just change maybe from their dataset name to your dataset name, from their variables to your variables. And then it's transparent, like someone is able to see what you have been working on. Like, what did you do? Okay, like you don't need to, someone doesn't need to tell you, I clicked here, then this, and no. When you present your code, one is able to understand, oh, so here you're doing this, and then here you did this, and then, so that in case even someone is to help you, they're able to know where the challenge is, right? Unlike the point and click thing where you can hardly present such kind of work. And then the other thing is that most of this programming software are open-ended in nature. And by open-ended in nature, meaning that they're far more versatile and customized, right? Depending on the kind of data you're working with. Of late, we have come to a point where we present most of our data in visuals. I don't know if you've heard of things like dashboards and what. Of recent, I saw a dashboard that was for WHO, and it was built by Rshine, and it was a customized dashboard, but then it was from Rshine, and it looked really, really nice, right? I liked it. So the thing is that with this, because of the open-ended nature of these languages, we can customize anything. You can bring it down to the setting of IDRC. Let's say we want to come up with a dashboard as the IDRC organization, right? And then probably this dashboard is going to be dependent, let's say, on R. We can customize that, and when people look at that, they will think that probably we came up with our own language and what, but then we're just leveraging on something that's already there, and then we're coming up with something that's really great. Yeah, and then typically these softwares have much more comprehensive range on building analysis function rather than the spreadsheets. And like we will appreciate, there is no analysis that I have wanted to do and I have not found a function in R. I haven't found that. Like anything that I ever want to do, even those that I do not know, right? if I just ever read about it, and then, and then I'll just ask, what's the package that can help me to do this? So the package is there, the documentation is there, they give you a syntax on how to do it. And guess what? You will know how to run something new on your own and also learn how to interpret the results of your output. So what are some of the characteristics that R has? R is an open source language. And by open source, we mean that it's really accessible. For those of us who have been able to download R and of course the coding environment, you have not seen anywhere like, please give us the digits of your card and then get a license for a year, those things that Stata has, So these are open source. It's out there, freely available. It's just about you saying, you know what, I'm taking this big step to learn this. And so you get in there, you download it, put it onto your machine at a free cost, and then start to learn how to use it. So it's open source, it's free, right? And then because of that, it's very popular, right? And then it has quite a number of our community package development where we can actually get there and get to see some of the most pre-written functionalities for the analysis. Now, the thing is that over time, we're going to see that for me to do something, I just call on a function, right? Let's say to add something, I'll call on a function sum. To find the mean of something, I'll call on the function mean. To find the median, I'll just say median. To find the minimum number in a set of numbers, I just say mean. So someone sat there and coded, right? Anything to get a mean of something, they sat down and built a function, right? And then from there, they saved that function in just one word. For example, to get the minimum, I just say min. But behind that is a series of code that you don't get to see. So because it's freely accessible and what people have come down to simplify the lives of those that are using the software by building pre-written functions that we can then rely on to be able to perform the analysis. And then we'll also get to appreciate that this differs from some software like Stata, of course, that many of us would love to and have always been using. And while we can use the pre-written functions of R, it's also Stata has, of course, some commands that you can rely on and things like that. But then you realize that when it comes to R, it has sort of like a broader number of functionalities that we can rely on to help us simplify the journey of our analysis. And then, so because it is broader, R also has a steeper learning curve than Stata. Yeah, so oftentimes I have had my colleagues say, no, let me just go back to Stata. I think that thing is hard. Yeah, we may also face such a thing. I've also felt that way. At the beginning of this journey, I felt like, okay, this is complicating my life, right? Let me just go back to the point and click and just a few commands to remember. It's not until I realize that, I just have to learn this. Yes, it's hard. Yes, I'm going to get reds and what, but nonetheless, we're going to keep moving. And then I'm just going to give you a trick, right? Don't feel bad when you get the reds. Don't feel like, no, let me just give up. We're going to learn how to know when we get the red. What's the error? What is it that I have done wrong? Because oftentimes when it returns an error, most of the times it points you towards where the error is. It will tell you this is not acceptable. You will just get to know and say, oh, okay, this is where my error is, right? So also interpreting the error is something we are going to learn, right? So that we are able to know that, oh, my error is here, oh, it's here, it's there. Unlike Stata, where it just gives a code. So you have to go and find out what's the error behind this code. Here, it comes in real time. Like as you run, it's able to tell you that I do not see this. You put this, maybe there's a comma, maybe you put a full stop, maybe, and so you're able to be like, oh, okay, this is where the problem is. And so you're able to proceed, lessening your frustrations. So what are some of the comparisons that R has over some of the traditional softwares that we have been using? Now for Stata, of course, it was a traditional choice for many economists. it used to be and still good, yeah, of course, for economic analysis. Though of course now Stata is having quite better visuals than than R. And then Stata is more specifically for econometrics. And then it's much more command oriented. Those of us who have worked with it, we know it. Of course, it's easier to use for standard applications. But then, if there is not a Stata command for what you want to do, it's harder to write something yourself. Now, Stata is more of command-based. If there is no command, then you cannot do things yourself. Well, we are going to appreciate it that for R, I can either build things myself, right? Or I am able to leverage on the functions, yeah, which I would say sort of like commands that other people have built for me to be able to do my work. But even then, that in the event that I cannot find the command or the function, I can still build the thing myself. And one thing I've learned about coding is that have the English version of what you want to do. And then from the English version, right, sit down and then translate that into code. For example, if you say, I want to have a set of ages for 50 children who go to maybe Kalongo Hospital, things like that. Once you have that, you're able to build a data set based on your English version. You want a set, maybe it's a data set. The children should be 50, maybe you give them random numbers, 1 to 50, and then you want to have their age, you put in their age, and maybe they all go to Kalongo, like hospital is Kalongo, something like that. Yeah. And then Stata is also very different than different from R in that you can only ever work with one data set at a time. While in R, you can typically work with a number of data sets in the environment. I'll just quickly check. I'm not sure if I have. Yeah. So for example, this is a data set, this is a data set, this, that. These are all data sets, right? So I'm able to work with any of these at any time. Let's say I want to match this with this or compare this with that. I'm able to do that all in one go. Yet when we come to Stata, it's very hard, right? So currently the data set that I have is this. If I ever, for example, want to compare it with something else, it's a bit hard, right? I have to clear this and then load something else in the environment, which then now becomes, quite tedious. And then also Stata is very different from R in that you can, oh yeah, we have done that. And then there's another analytical software, it's called SAS. It's pretty good, but quite expensive, yeah. So similar to Stata also, SAS was mainly for the business people in business. It was mainly their thing, right? And so also the things that we have seen, convenient, though it's convenient for massive data sets, also you can't work with quite a number of those at the same time. Just like the Stata. And then it's a bit older and less user-friendly. I have worked with it. I don't think I really appreciated it, but most of the people from America love SAS. Like if you're working with a professor from America, they'll always, it's either going to be Stata or it's going to be SAS. Yeah, but then, well, I didn't enjoy working with SAS, but yeah, it's also another software that you can use for data analysis. Now, there are other programming languages besides R. There's Python, there's C++, HTML, Julia, which is the new kid on the block. Of course, I hope there's also another new kid on the block I heard of recent. Yeah, but then each of these also has its own pros and cons, right? Most of the times, if I am running, let's say a machine learning model, I would prefer to use Python. It's quite faster. And then you don't have to write so much code to do one thing. Yeah, but then also when you come to like analysis, regression analysis, this traditional, statistical analysis, R is much better because it has pre-written functions, unlike Python. Python has less pre-written functions, especially for analysis, because that's not what it's meant to do. So you find it a bit hard to, it's not that it cannot do it, it's just that you'll do it with a lot of difficulty. Yeah, because it's not mainly made for statistics. Yeah. Yet R is mainly for statistics and mathematics. If you want to build a mathematical model, whatever, MATCOM modeling, etc. You're better off running such models in R than Python, though you can still do them in Python, but you'll have to build your own, line of code for you to be able to implement that. And then MATLAB is also very good, but very expensive. It's a very expensive software. Yes, but it's also very good for microeconomics and any other theoretical work. But MATLAB is really good. I think I like MATLAB. Yeah. And then so in the course of our training, I may not provide you with 100% content that you will need to maybe execute the work that you have. But please make use of the online material that can help you further learn R. And maybe for the challenges that you get, you can always go there and then try and ask, because whatever error you're going to get, trust me, someone has gotten a similar error and they have been helped. So we will oftentimes be running for help to different places. I equally go to those places when I get errors and when I still don't understand why the error is persisting, right? Maybe I'm missing something that I'm not able to see, so I'm able to go there and still get help because, like I said, whichever error you get, someone else has gotten, yeah. So we have a data camp. This has interactive online lessons in R. So we can go to data camp and just get to reaffirm some of our R skills. It's just that some of the online lessons are paid for. You pay a particular fee to have them. Yeah, there's the R Studio sheets and then Quick R. Again, here we just go there to just learn, understand, better appreciate some of these things that we're going to learn. And then some of the useful sources, especially when I get errors, is Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is one of my best friends, right? For example, if I'll just copy this and paste it here. I just put Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow. You will always get help when you come to Stack Overflow. Always. Yeah, for developers and what. Like, let's say I want to maybe loading a CSV file in R. And then I just Stack Overflow. Yeah, so here. I'll just open that. And then Stack Overflow is used by all developers, right? It's not just for R, it's for so much. Yeah, so here someone says, I have a CSV file. I just give an example. And then they say, and what I want to do is read this file using R statistical software. Here is the pseudo code. So this is the code they had, of course, funny code. And then someone here, so there are 6 answers, 6 responses to this question. Someone says, you mentioned that you will call anyway, whatever it is, but they provide a code, a line of code here, right? df is equal to read.csv, then your file, and then header is equal to true. Like for as long as you learn how to interpret code, you don't need to cram any code. I equally don't cram code. Maybe because I've overused some of these things, they're just in my head, but I never sit there. I never sit down to say, let me cram. No. The thing is that when you learn how to interpret, even if you find whichever code you find online, you will know that, okay, this person here was doing this, and then they did this and did this and did that. Yeah, so imagine I'm a person who is challenged with getting my CSV file into the R environment. If I just look at this, because I understand what they're writing, I'll just know, okay, they want to call their data set df. This is an equal sign. This is a function, u.csv. I bring the path to where my CSV file is, and then I'm saying that the first row is header. They are headers. It's not like data. Those are just column names. Yeah, so yeah, and then once I see this, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what you do. I just copy this And then I go to my R, I come and paste it, right? And proceed. Yes. Okay. So Stack Overflow is one place, and then Ara Bloggers. Now, Ara Bloggers 2 is another place where you can get help. So don't get stuck and sit. No, there is help. Ara Bloggers, Stack Overflow, R for data science. There are even Slack platforms, you know, where you can go and just put a question and then someone quickly, people are always there willing to help, by the way. People are always there willing to respond. It's just that we never seek the help. But once you seek the help, you always find it freely available. Okay, now we are going to get started with R. But before we can begin, I would just like to confirm that we all have the software R and R Studio downloaded. So for now, I'm going to pause a little bit and then just try to ask. If you do not have the software on your machines, please let me know by show of hands, because we are now going to begin the real work. Do we all have the software?
I am not done downloading yet. It was a bit slow. It's taken a while.
Do you
Thank
have
you.
enough space on your machine?
Why?
Do you have enough space?
Yes.
You do, eh? I'm wondering
Yes.
why it's... Okay, so not even R. You haven't downloaded R and both of them, or you at least have one of them?
I by mistake first clicked on 2 on the second step, and then I clicked on the first one, and so they were running concurrently.
Maybe you can first pause the studio and first run the language.
Okay.
You can pause the R studio, just pause, don't close, so that at least you get R. We can meanwhile be working from that side as we get there. But we also need the R studio because that's where we're going to be coding from. So is it just Helen that hasn't gotten done? Do the rest of us have the software? Yes, Moses?
So I'm also inquiring on which particular one to download. Like,
Okay.
what do I feed in to get the R?
What do you need? Did you see? Okay. Are you on the WhatsApp group? I think you're not there. Are you in the WhatsApp group? Yes, Tumwine. I think you're breaking, but I've shared a link in the chat. Let me just share my screen so that you get to see what to download. Okay, so when you click on that link in the chat, it will bring you to this website here. It has R Studio Desktop, right? So just scroll down, click here to install R. Now, if you have a Windows machine, just click here to install R Studio. When you're done with this, you come to this, right? But then if you have like a Mac, or you're using a Ubuntu system or any other system, just come here and see, right? If you're a Windows person, come to Windows. For the Mac people here, Ubuntu, whichever you're using, so that you can download the studio. So the studio is just going to be a working environment, but you can't this. You can't fail to have R and think you'll be able to use the studio. It will fail because you don't have the language installed. So we need this first before we can have this. So at least if you have this, I can show you how we can, for now, keep coding with it, though you still learn how to use the studio. Yes, please.
Yes, I just realized that actually it is R Studio that has downloaded.
Okay, you install and get R. R should be fast. R should be fast. It's okay. It will be fast, don't worry. Yes, Moses, your hand is still up. Did you get the link?
Download, while looking at the option 1, download R, I see the comprehensive R archive network.
Do you want to share your screen?
So I download for Windows.
Yes, I do you have Windows as your operating system?
Yes.
Yes, please, just click on that.
Okay.
All right. So a good number of us have the software. I think we are going to proceed. It's just Moses and Helen. So Moses and Helen, since this will be shared, the recording, so just in case you're lost, be sure you catch up when the recording is shared. But in the event that you have gotten the software and you're trying to figure out how to catch up with us, please let us know and we will try and wait for you to get on board. Yes, so hopefully you have enough internet connection to at least allow you be able to do the installations. All right, so we're going to get started with the real thing, right? The reason as to why we're here. So we are done with talking without acting. Okay, so so we have R. Now R is the language, and this is what it looks like. R. For example, my R is 4.4.1. So this is it, right? So it comes with a general user interface here, where I can code. For example, if I say 1 plus 1, and then I click enter, it will return the answer, right? The sum of 1 plus 1. If I say 100 by 2, to give me 200. Now, if you haven't got an RStudio, for you, you're going to be working from here for now as you're downloading RStudio, right? So yes, you can work from the R console here. You put your code, and as when you click enter, you get your output. Okay. However, we also have what we call the RStudio. Now, the RStudio is an environment. It is a place where it's where we work, where we put our code, right? We put code and then we are able to get the output in the console. So let's get to see what it looks like. For us to get it, we all click on our Windows button and then put RStudio. As we are writing, the icon comes, some beautiful letter R. So of course, you're going to click on that. I hope we are now moving. So I work as you also work on your side. I'm wondering what is going to be easier for you. Most of the times people log in with 2 machines, maybe a phone and their computer. So that if they're asked to show me, they're still able to. So I just want to get the screen that you're all getting. I'll keep clicking until that screen comes. I want to get your screen. Hopefully I will. Okay. It keeps taking me back to, let me do it for the very last time. If it fails, I'll just remove everything in the environment. Okay, I think it's failing. No worries. So I'm just going to remove all this. So I'm just going to remove all the work that I've been working. Yeah. Oh, let me just save this. Just trying to. All right, I'm just trying to get to where you all are. Okay, you have something like this when you open it for the very first time. Of course, this may not be exactly what you have, but you have something like this. Yeah, beautiful. You have something like this. So this is RStudio. Now, RStudio, we have said it's the environment. It's an integrated environment where we do the coding from. And RStudio as a coding environment, it supports quite a number of languages, right? R is one of them. There's Python, there's HTML, there's C++. There's so much, right? And then we have what we call the console. Now, this console here is similar to what we had in R when we went to just the R language here. It's similar to this R console. Even here, we can put our code. We can choose to code from here. For example, I'll say 1 + 9. When I click enter, it returns 9. I can say 200 divided by 6, and it returns 33.3, right? I can choose to code from the console. Now, the console, we get our code and the output. The console is for the code and the output. And then when we all look at the two boxes on our right, we can see the upper box has the environment. Now, in this environment, this is where we get to see the data set the data that we are working with, the data, the objects, the matrices, and we are going to learn what all those are. So we get to see our objects, our matrices, our data sets here in the environment. And then for history is able to give us the history of the code that we have been running. For example, it's able to give me the most recent code that I just ran this morning, right? TBL regression, what. But let me wrap it. Let's clear it so that it's empty. Then for connections, I am able to connect. Let's say you're building a dashboard and you need to connect to some data somewhere. So someone gives you an API where you can connect your code, right? You connect your code to the data somewhere, right? So here we are able to see where you're connected. Maybe you have a particular database you're connected to, maybe in the United States and you're given access. So here we're able to see that. And then for the tutorial is where we just get to learn more about R, learning R as a language, right? So like we said that because of its open source nature, a lot of documentation is out there. People have labored to sit down and tell others how to use it. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Okay, now then we have the lower box again on the right. We have the files. Now, if you're working in a particular project, you're able to see, and that's why I said we will learn how to come up with a project, right, in R. So if you have like a project, it's able to tell you, okay, you're in this particular project, these are the files that you have, it's the content, etc. And even without writing a lot of code, sometimes you just click on, for as long as you're within that project, you just double click and things come up. If it's data, you also load it without having to write a whole line of code to have it coming into your environment. We have the plots. Now for the plots, if you're plotting your data, this is where you get the visual, right? Especially if you're working within the script. Otherwise, if you're working within R Markdown, right, or the quarter file, usually the plots will come within the Markdown or quarter file. But if it's a script, you get your output here. Output for any other thing that is not an image or a table is always in the console. Then output for images like, plots, tables, name it, they'll all come within the plots. Within the plots and the viewer, yes. And then packages. Now, those of us who are using it for the very first time, I doubt you have installed any package. So we'll also learn how to install the different packages, which packages are housing functions that help us to work seamlessly with our data. And if you want to install the packages without having to run a line of code, you just come to package, install, and then maybe I want to install tidyr, a package called tidyr, right? So I'll come and say install. Let's say I want to install a package called R Markdown. And sometimes as you're writing, they even come. So R Markdown, once I click, then I say install. Hey, I don't want to click on it. And then I say install, yeah, it comes. Okay, then help. There are often times you're going to be challenged. You'll get an error. you don't understand it, you've Googled, no one has, maybe people have posted and no one is responding, we can always come to the help function, to the help window here and seek help. Let's say I want to seek help on maybe tidyr. This will come. Okay, so it tells me tidyr, tidying messy data. It is used for tidying messy data. Like you can see the spades, the brushes, all those things, right? To tidy up a room. So also tidyr is used to tidy up our messy data sets. So, and then so you read about it. What is tidyr? You know, what is there? etc, etc, you get to know about it, okay? Then in the viewer, we get to see a tables presentation in case you're presenting anything. Okay, so basically this is what we have. Now, all of us together, we are going to now move to the window on our left. We move to the window on our left. At the extreme upper corner of your left window, you have an option there called File. Let's all click on File. I hope we are moving. Let's all click on File. When we click on File, let's all go to New File. So what we are trying to do is we are creating our script where we are going to be saving and coding. So we put our code there and save it for future reference, also for sharing with our colleagues who may be interested in this. Okay, so File, New File. Now, because we said that RStudio is not only for R, even if it's called RStudio, it's a coding environment for many other languages. Like you can see R script, Koto document, Koto presentation, R notebook, R markdown, Shiny web app, Plumber API, C file, C++, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, SQL, you know, all these languages. But we are going to initially learn how to work with a script. So we are all choosing the first option, which is R script. Click. Now, when we click, a new window comes. We have part of our window now divided, right? It's divided into two. So the console, terminal, and background jobs move down. And then we have a new window that has popped up. Now, all of us, we are going to save this file, this new window. We'll go back to File and then say Save As, File, Save As. Now, I believe you have a folder where you're going to be storing all the content for this training. So you'll go to, I'll go on the desktop, I'll go to Shakira, I'll go to Students, and then I'll go to Learning R, and then I have an R code file here. And then I say learning, maybe R, I'll call it version 2. Please don't leave space, Don't leave space in the name of your R script to avoid errors. So mine is learning R version 2. The save as type is R, so leave it as R. Please don't change it. And then I'll say save. Now, when I click save, the name has been changed from untitled to Learning R version 2, and then it has a .r because it's an R script file, and it has a .r extension. So here we are. Are we there? Is there someone who is not moving with us? Please, if you're there, unmute and let me know. Okay, silence means no. So I'm just going to click enter and just move a few steps below, and I'll tell you why. So I'm just going to move like 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. Okay. Again, I'll save. So to save is normally the way you save your Word documents. Ctrl+S, or you just come to this button here. All right, I believe we all have an R script. Be reminded that you will be told to share your screen when I just give a quick assignment so that to make sure that we are all moving together. Okay. All right, so we have gotten to learn more about this, and so we are going to begin. Okay, All right, before we can begin, I believe you all have white screens. I'm not sure who wants to get a different color of a screen. I don't know. Mine is dark blue, I think. Yeah, dark blue. You may want to get a purple, pink. I wonder if that's even there. But the thing is that if you want to change the color of your screen, to those who are interested, you go to Tools, again up. When you go to Tools, we go to Global Options, Tools, Global Options, and then Appearance. Tools, Global Option, Appearance. If you have eye issues and you feel like the letters are too small, you can go to Zoom and increase on the font size. You choose any that works for you. For me, 100 does well for me. So please make yourself comfortable. Choose a font size that works for you. And then the editor font, choose one that still works for you. Do you want to work with Lucida Console? I worked with a default setting. I don't know what you want to work with. Please change. And as you keep changing, you can see that even here it tells you what it looks like, right? Actually, Korean new looks fancy. I'll change that. And then text rendering, do you want to render? I left that as default. Editor font size, please change as you want. Then the editor theme is what changes the color. Currently, I'm working in Cobalt. Someone may want to have the Crimson editor, the Dawn, the Dracula, the Dreamweather, the Chaos, the Chrome, the Ambience. I don't know what you want. Please choose what you want. Choose the color of what you want. Yeah. And then when you're done, you click apply and then okay. Okay. I've changed. Well, I hope I've not changed to the worst. Let me see DPY. Oh, looks fancy. Maybe. Okay. So when you're done, I don't know. If you want to change, please change. If you don't want, let's proceed with the default setting. Okay. Now, we are going to learn how to comment in R. Now, in R, we have what we call code that R understands as code. Like when you write it, it will know, oh, you're writing something I know. That is someone who is part of us. And then there is when we want to put foreigners, you want to infringe, yeah? You're a foreigner. Now, every time we want to include foreigners within R, there's a sign we use so that we can bypass. Otherwise, R will complain. It will ask itself, what is this? Is someone I don't know. They're within my territory. Yet, if you want them to come in, you make sure you shield them from being recognized by R. And the sign that we use for shielding or for commenting is a hash sign. Hash. On my screen, on my keyboard, it's the Shift-3. If I click Shift-3, I'll have the hash sign. So what I'm going to do is, the reason that's why I told you to leave some space is I want to at least have something. What's this about? What's this document about? That's the script about. So I'll just put so many hashes like that, like that, like that. Even put this. I'll do this. No, okay, I'll do that. Just so many hashes to beautify my page. And then I'll put a hash and a greater than sign and say data analysis. What is this about? It's data analysis and visualization. Oh, someone is putting up their hand. I'm coming. And visualization using R. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen. Helen has a hand up. Over to you, Helen. Please go ahead. Yes, Helen.
So I finally got it, but I don't know if I'm taking you so back. So you said we go to file and do what? I finally got.
Okay, please share your screen. Let's go through it together. Share your screen.
Just a moment, let me share. Let me try to share. Can you see it now?
Yes, okay, go to file. Excellent, you have it. Go to file. New file. Choose the first option, R script. It's up there, yeah, yeah. Okay, you know how to save? To save, file save as, and then take it to the folder where you want it to go. Okay. So should we proceed? I think this is something you can do on your own, right?
Okay.
Please forget to give it a
maybe
name. Give it a name. Yes, please.
I was stuck on how to install it at the point of which app to use,
Come again at the point of.
which app to use to install.
Ah, so you've done all the installations?
I went through the setup language and installed, but it's asking you of another app to use, like to
Let's share
open
your
it.
screen. Let's share your screen.
I was using a phone and trying to use a tab as well. Let me connect the
I
tab
think
as well.
I think I'm failing to hear your last words. Come again.
I was using a phone and a tab.
Ah, so the laptop is not connected on Zoom,
It's not
right?
connected.
Ah, I'm wondering how we can help you. So do you want to join with the laptop as well?
No, I wanted to open. Whenever I
then-
keep opening,
Helping you is going to be hard if I'm not seeing your screen. That's why I want you to join with that same gadget as well. Yeah.
maybe let me try to get there, and because when
Okay,
I
please
try to
try.
open the app, I don't see it come up.
Did you install it?
Yes, it installed.
Are you sure?
Mm.
You know there is downloading and installing. Those are two different things.
Yes, I downloaded and installed.
Okay, and when you go to Windows and try to put RS, you don't see anything coming up like RStudio.
You had told us to first install R. Right?
Did you install that?
Yes, R was installed.
And then RStudio, are you still installing RStudio? Are you still downloading it, or you already installed it as well?
Still downloading.
Ah, okay. So you just have R. Okay, yeah, just click on, just type R, and then you will see an icon of R with an oval around it. Do you see that?
On the Windows.
Okay, let me show you what you're going to see, because you don't have RStudio yet. So can you see my screen?
Yes, I am.
Ah, okay, let me just show this. Okay, if I put R here, there's this here. Do you see this R app?
That is on which browser? Which
No, no
browser?
browser. No, it's not. No, it's not on any browser. It's an application within my system already, because I installed it. And I
Maybe
wonder
the
where
rest could continue. I think I'm still
where
behind.
those go.
I could get in touch with you after this. Let me try to
Yeah.
follow.
Okay, no worries. You let me know. All right. So we said
Okay,
if
please.
we want to comment, we use a hash sign, right? If I put a hash, I can put any foreigner within R. For example, if I do not put this hash here, and let me just get this and you see what's going to happen. Let me just copy this and just put it here. You see, even before I do anything, I don't even run what I'm already getting an X here. And it's telling me unexpected token analysis, unexpected token visualization. If I dare run this, I'll get a red. Let me try it. It tells me unexpected symbol in data analysis. This is foreign, it doesn't know it. So, so if you want to write something that R doesn't recognize, you shield it by putting a hash sign before it. Okay, so this is data analysis and visualization using R. I'll say date. The date is maybe 30th of Jan 2025. And then I'll say, what else? What else do you want to put? I don't know. Then if I am done, I'll just to beautify my what? My file. So I'll just have something. I can maybe put a name. My name is Shakira Davide. Okay, then I save. So I have a beautiful, it looks beautiful, not so. Unlike if it didn't have anything, like if someone just lands on this document, they'll be like, okay, so this document is about data analysis and visualization in R. This person start their training. I can actually even say this is a training title, right? So they're like, okay, so that the training commenced on the 30th of Jan this year, and the owner of this document is Shakira Davide. Good. Okay, so every time, so we are going to be commenting out everything we are doing. If we are summing up something, if we are coming up with objects, if we are coming up with vectors, we are going to keep commenting out, right? So you do not need a book. You don't need an exercise book to take note of these things. Within the environment itself, we can take notes. The only thing is that for us to take our notes, we can leverage on the hash sign to block off anything, so that we just show that this is a comment. Anything behind this is a comment. Please don't consider it as code. If I dare run this, I'll not get any error. It will run, no output, no error, because it sees that as a comment and not as code. Okay. For example, we are going to, okay, we have said, I'll pose a question and say, how do we comment in R? When I say we comment by using a hash, the hash sign, right? When I say, for example, if I want to get the sum of 200 and 400, I'll just say 200 plus 400, and then put a hash and even say I am adding 200 to 400, right? If I run this to run, let's also learn how to run from here. If I want to run line 11, I can select it by just putting my cursor on number 11 in the very first column. And then I can click on run. There's a run button here towards the end of this window that popped up, your script. There's a run button, click on run. When I click on run, in the console, I get the result of that code, right? 200 plus 400 is 600. Alternatively, I can just put to run code. Okay, so commenting. Then we'll say running code. We run code by clicking on the run button. So that's one option. So we have several options. One is by clicking on the run option, on the run button. For example, we have, let's all get a product. Let's all say 200 times star, which is shift 8 times 5. And then we run code by selecting the line of code and clicking the run button. So we select line 18 and then click run. or we run code by putting our cursor anywhere along the line that we would like to execute. Say for example, assuming the same round we want to get the product of 100 and 100. So we're saying that you put your cursor anywhere. You can either put it at the beginning, okay, anywhere, and the run button. Okay, so I can say, I can put it at the beginning, in the middle, anywhere, at the end, anywhere, for as long as my cursor is on line 24. If I click run, I'll get the output. And in this case, it has given me 10,000. Yeah, if you do not want to click the run button, you can just put your cursor anywhere by either selecting or putting the cursor anywhere, and then on your keyboard, you click Shift, Enter. So if you click Shift Enter, it's the same as run. Yes, Helen?
Yeah, I don't seem to get the output in the console.
You don't seem to get any output in your console?
Yeah.
Are you getting any error?
No, nothing is reddening.
There's even no error.
Reddening. What?
Oh, are you executing your code? Are you running your
Yes,
code?
I am.
Oh, okay.
But
Please, please share your screen.
let me try to share.
Okay,
You can see it.
it's coming. Yes, I can see it.
So doing Selenium run. Oh, I think I was impatient. Thank you. So do these other words default have to keep them?
Yeah, they're always going to be there. They're just telling you about the version of R that you're working with.
Okay, fine, thanks.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so we have learned how to run our code, right? We have learned how to run code. There are different ways. So whichever works for you, please feel free. Okay, so we say this class will be a bit faster. Okay, how about if you want to get help in R? How do we get help? I remember we spoke of the help function. Okay. So getting help. So I'm going to say that we can seek for help in R using the function help. It's small letters. Now R is case sensitive. By case sensitive, I mean that if a letter has to be capital and you write it as small, it will return that as an error. If it's supposed to be small and you write it as capital, or vice versa, whatever it is, it will return that as an error. So the help function is small letters, help, then open brackets, close brackets, and then you execute. Now, what this means is that you're saying, help me on this, and what you want help on is usually enclosed within your bracket. For example, let's say, for example, let's assume we want to get help with understanding what the sum, or includes this, the sum function does in R. Okay, so just say help sum. If I say help sum, I run this, I get help. When I look within the help window, something has popped up. And then it says sum of vector elements. Sum returns the sum of all values present in its argument. Usage, it even gives you the syntax. Sum, you put your arguments here. This means that please consider the not applicables. Yeah, if you say not applicable is equal to false, what's not applicable is equal to true. Yeah, and then so it's able to tell you what each of these means, including NS. So yeah, so basically that's it. So I'm just going to tell someone, so we're having a short assignment and someone is going to share their screen. This is because I haven't seen any other people's screens apart from Helen. So I do not know whether you're with us. Assignment. Okay, please, you're going to get help. Seek help. Seek help on the seek function. I'm just going to choose at random, and it's not a walk of shame, and don't even feel that way. It's okay not to know, and I'm here to help you. That's the reason as to why we're here. So if I pick on you, please don't be like, I'm not ready. Yeah, no, don't do that, please. Okay, so Helen has been sharing her screen all this time. I'm going to choose a gentleman. Martin, do you want to share your screen? Yes, Martin.
Yeah, let me share.
Okay, thank you.
Let me share.
Ah, perfect. Okay, sequence generation,
Yeah,
generate
so I
regular
have
sequences.
it down here.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Thanks a
I
lot.
could make this bigger.
Yeah, same, thanks.
All right.
You can stop sharing. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Means we are all on the same page. Okay, now the other way through which we can get help is by using the question mark. The second way to get help in R is by using a question mark, just a question mark symbol, question mark. Oh, okay, yeah. So for example, let's say, so I'm just going to do what Martin did. I'm going to seek help on seek. So you say question mark seek. You see that? Now here, you do not enclose it in the brackets. So question mark seek is like, what is sync? Because question mark is for asking questions, right? So it's like, what is sync? So if I run this, then it will tell me sync is sequence generation. It generates regular sequences. It's a standard generic with a default method, that, and then it also gives the syntax. So this is how we seek for help in R. Okay, next. If you're lost, please speak. Yeah. Now we are going to learn how to set a working directory. So this is setting a working directory. Okay, now what is a working directory? That's the first question. A working directory. When you hear directory, anything directory is a folder. It's a folder, right? Maybe where our work sits, where we find our work. It's just a folder, right? And I believe we have all saved this file somewhere. There is a folder on your computer where this work is saved, right? And then you want to say that, now in that particular folder, maybe moving forward, if we get a demo data set that we shall be working with, you want to make sure that data set is seated there. If we get to the point of visualization and we want to store our visuals, we are saying that, please store my visuals in this same directory. Maybe it's a table. Please take my table in this directory. Maybe you're exporting data in a different format. Please export it, export and store it in this particular folder. So it's always a good practice to set your working directory. And we shall learn that when we set our working directory, it also lessens our work. For example, if I want to load a particular data set in the same folder where I'm working from, I do not need to call on the entire path, right? Where this, to show the location of this, to tell R that this is the location of the data set that I want to import. Rather, if I have set the working directory, I simply call on the dataset name without necessarily having to write the entire path. Like my document is in desktop, Shakira, students, IDRC, 2025, October, January, like you have all those subfolders, right, in the mother folder. And so you have to call on the entire path for R to locate your file. Now, instead of doing all that, I set my working directory once, and then moving forward, I just call on malaria dataset, mpox dataset, cells, what, etc., And so what are some of the functions that we leverage on to set our working directory, but also to check and see whether we are within the directory that would like to, to be working with. So for us to set a working directory, directory, we use the function. R is like English. The more you learn it, the more you realize it's actually English. It's just English in short form. So if you want to set a working directory, you set the word set WD, with WD being working directory. And then in between the brackets, this is where you put the path to the folder, right? So for example, I'm currently working in R, right? The folder is called R code. So I'm going to pick the path to this folder. I'll right click on it and then say copy as path. Right click, copy as path. And then I will set the working directory. I'll say set WD, open brackets, close brackets. I paste my path. Are we there? So after pasting my path, now this path comes with backward slashes. A slash which is facing backwards. It's facing towards your right. But then R deals with forward slashes. Now, here, I'll say when we copy the path, it usually comes with backward slashes. And I'll put an example of a backward slash like that. However, R works with forward. R works with forward slashes. However, R works with forward slashes. It works with forward. It goes those that are facing towards the right and not the left. So that means that we have to change, right? So we are going to come and change all these backward slashes to forward slashes. And when we are done changing this, I'll show you the simplest way of changing this. For now, let's go through the hard way. So after changing this, I'll execute my code. When I execute it, it successfully runs. Now, assuming I want to check the directory in which we are working. we use the function get WD. Like get for me the working directory. For example, if I say get WD, open brackets, close brackets, and I execute that, it will tell me that your current working directory is C users, BBRSH desktop, Shakira students learning R code. So, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in R code. So the very last one is the folder in which you're working in. So I'm like, oh, do I want to be in R code? Is that where I want to send everything? Is that where my data is seated? If I say yes, then I will proceed. So that is how we set the working directory or check the directory in which we are. Okay. So we will proceed. Okay, finally, we are here. We're going to start the real thing. So data types and operations. Data types and operations. Data types and operations. Okay, we are going to begin with data types. We're going to begin with data types. Okay, now we have quite a number of data types in R. There are several data types. Recognize. And these include, okay, so the first one is the numeric data type. Numeric data type is data in numbers. Data in numbers. Now these numbers can either be whole numbers or decimal point numbers. Okay. All right. For example, maybe, yeah, okay, let's first go through each of them like this, no worries. And then the other data type we have is called integer. Integer. Now, integer, this is also numeric data. So it's also numeric data. It's also numeric data. However, it's whole number. It's a whole number numeric data. Numeric data. Whole number numeric data. I'll just put an example here. For numeric data, I'll say, for example, 1, 2, 10 plus 9, 3 plus 8, etc. Now, you see, integer is a subset of numeric data type. Because numeric has both whole numbers, which are integers, and decimal points, which is not an integer, which is not a whole number. However, how is R able to differentiate between a numeric data type, numeric, it being either integer or decimal point, to like an integer data type? Now, this you have to tell it, and usually for R to tell whether the number is of integer type, we use the letter L. We use, let's just say we use capital L, after the whole number. And we are going to see an example. I'll say, for example, e.g., 2 capital L, 3 capital L, 8 capital L, 100 capital L. If I ask R, what is this data type? It will say this is an integer. However, if I just write it as 2, 3, 8, 100, if I ask what is this data type, it will tell me that is numeric. So for it to differentiate like a numeric data type from an integer, integers are usually preceded with like a capital L. Okay. Then the other we have is character. Now, character is data in text or words. For example, boy. We're going to say in text or words, and is usually embedded in either single or double quotes. Either single or double quotes. For example, if I want to say that the boy is going to school, the boy is going to school. You make sure you embed this whole statement, the boy is going to school, in either single or double quotes, like it's enclosed within that. I would say the puppy is hungry. Maybe they all had malaria. Right? This it will recognize, for as long as you embed it within either single or double, it will know that, oh, okay, so you're trying to write character. It's fine, no worries, I'll accept that. Okay. And then we have some other data type, which is factor. Now, factor is data in categories or groups. For example, we can have male or female. Male or female, you're either male or female. Leave alone the usual days of where people can be both. But here, you're either a male, you're within a group of male, or you're within a group of female. It's either that these are apples and these are oranges and the other ones are pineapples. Like you can't be an apple and an orange at the same time. No, you're either one of those. So it's data within groups or categories, factor. Sorry. And then the other we have is the complex data type. Now, complex data type is data that has a numeric bit of it and an imaginary number. It's data that has a numeric data type and an imaginary number. For example, I'll say 5 plus 6i. Now, you always have to put the I, and what I stands for is imaginary. If you don't put the I, if you just say 5 plus 6, it will just cement that and give you the sum of that, which is 11. So yet when you put an I and even ask the data type, it will tell you, oh, this is a complex number because it has an imaginary bit of it. It has a complex part of it, right? And then finally, we have the logical data type. Now, logical data type is data with true or false. Values. Now, please note that my true or false is capital. True is capital. Throughout, capital T, capital R, capital A, capital E, and false, the same. If you write it in small letters, it will reject that. It will be as though you're writing character. Okay, now we are going to explore. Before we get there, we are going to learn, I'm going to ask a question. How do we check for the class or for the data type of something in our question? And the response is, we do so by using the function class. So you say class, open brackets, close brackets, class. Like what's the class of, let's say X, what's the class of X? What's the class of Y? What's the class of male? What's the class of I am going to school? What's the class of false? What's the class of 10 plus 11i, right? Something like, I'll just work from the console. Let's say if I say class of 2, if I enter, it says numeric. If I say class of 10.9, it will still be numeric. If I say class of 9 capital L, it will say integer. If I say class of 5 plus 4 plus 5i, it will say complex. So when I say class, it's able to return the data type of whatever I am asking. Okay, how about if I want to change? How about if I want to change the class of something, Now, for you to do so, we use the functions. We use the function as dot, right? Now, as dot, then you put, what do you want? As dot numeric, open brackets, close brackets. Now that changes something from whatever it is to numeric. If I say as dot factor, it will change it from what it is to a factor. As dot integer, it will change it from what it is to the integer, etc. So whatever I want to do, like whatever you want to change it to, it will convert it to that thing. Okay. So now the assignments are going to begin. Okay, so we are going to begin with numeric data. Numeric data type. Okay. Let's all embed this in what we call an object. So we're all going to create an object for age. Age is equal to, put the age of the youngest, of your youngest sibling. If you're the last born, of your cousin, because I know people never want to reveal their age. So put any random age. Okay, so I'll say 12, right? Age is equal to 12, right? So if I say age is equal to 12, something is going to happen in the environment. If I dare run this, the environment has gotten something, it's gotten a value, right? It says age 12. If I call on age to just check what is within age, tells me age is 12. If I say, okay, what is the class of age? What is the class of age? What is the class of age? If I check that, it says that age is numeric. So it tells me that age is numeric. How about if I change age from being numeric to being a character? So this is an assignment. We are changing age from being numeric to being a character. I'm just going to choose someone at random. People are reducing. I hope class is not so long. Okay, I'm just going to choose someone at random. Isaiah is traveling. Yeah, okay. Someone is just coming back. All right. Lawrence Kalinachi. Do you want to share your screen?
Yes, I can share.
Please, thank you.
So the question, I think I missed the question was, it was?
Change the data type of age to character.
I would say then we pass our age.
Now check, after running that, you're going to check the class again so that we see whether it's still numeric or it has changed. So call on the class of age again. We had to change it. Oh, yeah, it will not change. All right, let me show you. What you're going to do is on line 63, line 63, put your cursor before us. Put your cursor before us. Say age. Age, right? Age. Age. A-G-E.
Age. Okay.
Age is equal to. Okay, run that and then run line 65 again. So that we change it even from the environment. Okay, then run line 65.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
thank
working.
you. All right, you can stop sharing the screen. Okay, I hope we are all moving together. It's not fond of us not to rest, but we are just trying to catch up.
Hello, Shakira.
Please, yes, please. Yes, please.
I seem to be so slow. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, please share your screen.
So here on the, you see when we did age and I think that's why I put 12 on line 17 and it came to this other side and we're seeing it. And then
Yes.
these other ones, class age, like I was reading, but it is not bringing it down here in the console.
I looks like you're just sharing a window. Can you share your entire screen? I don't seem to see the bottom of your console. I still
You
don't see.
don't see what median is.
I've seen. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. You run line 18. Run line 18. But even then, it's like you didn't run. Okay, run line 18.
I've clicked.
And we still don't see anything. Okay. Go to session up there. Session. Session. Yeah. Right after plots. There, session. Click restart. Okay. You're going to run your whole file. Just go up, scroll up. Select everything from line 11. Yeah, click run. Okay. I hope it has run. Well, click line 18. I don't seem to see the bottom of your screen. Select, okay,
It
run that.
seems, you mean the bottom of the console?
No, but just run that. Run that, and I want to hope it comes out. Well, you're not sharing your whole screen, so.
Oh, how do I do that?
To share the whole screen.
Because I'm seeing even here,
To
it's
share
not
the
like,
whole. Yes. No, I need to see your whole screen. I can't help. To share the whole screen, you go to share. Usually the first option is entire screen. Don't choose anything. Just click the word share. So first unshare and then share your entire screen.
like I just click
Yeah, just click the word share. Once you
that I,
click on share, you
yeah,
click that blue, share.
that's what I did. If you realize on the console, there's no, like how up it is here. It's not like I've finished up my page
Can
and
you
I need to
maximize?
scroll.
Is it that this is not maximized? Can you maximize your RStudio? Just remove this. I don't seem to. Okay, yeah, at least
Like
this.
that?
Is your last thing help seek on your console? No, to
Yes,
maximize
that's what I'm
the
seeing here.
maximize.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Eh? Can you first
Yeah, that's
delete?
the last one.
Can you put your cursor on in your console, the last word, and delete that word?
it doesn't seem to take the cursor there.
Okay. Can you Control S and close this window and open it again?
Close everything.
Yeah, let's close.
I don't save.
Yeah, you can say it's okay. You say. You say your work. Well, I don't know if you're sharing your screen. I think you're sharing a window still. But anyway, go back and come back to RStudio because we should have seen your screen, but now all we see is Zoom. You look for your RStudio again and we go back. Are you moving there?
I'm trying to open. Can you see it now?
No, you're sharing a window. You're not sharing your entire screen. So we cannot see anything. So you're going to stop sharing and then share again.
Can you see it now?
It's coming. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Now, can you run just line 11? Just put your cursor in on line 11. Okay, yeah, that's okay.
It has come.
Okay, run the next line.
No, I can't see what to see.
I also don't see your full. How different is class? Let me come back to you, Martin.
Okay, fine. I can stop sharing.
No. We are still dealing with you. Reduce that window a bit. I want to see the bottom of
What
this.
I've done now.
I actually want to see the bottom. I want to see the bottom. Oh, okay, now you have reduced the other window. And for you to come back to it, I need to share my screen so that
I stop.
no,
Share.
don't stop. Let's see. Wait, hold on. We're going to come back. Don't stop sharing. You should learn it because you keep doing it and you have to learn how to come back. So we go to, hold on. I'm just trying to get to, okay, I think we go to view. Pens, show open. Okay. So you're going to go to view. Click on view.
Yeah.
Yes. You're actually there. You figured it out. Okay, now. Okay, no. It's okay. You have all the 4 windows. Leave that. Scroll down.
But then why am I not able to scroll in the console?
We can't scroll in the console. But even then, I do not see the bottom of your console. I do not know the last executed thing of your console.
Yeah, like even me, I can't see. I see like words are going, but it's not having a tab to help me navigate and go down.
Okay, you're going to do this. First, stop sharing your screen. I'm going to do something on my screen. And you see, because you're not sharing the entire screen, we are also not seeing what you're doing. So it's going to be, you see, for me, anywhere I go, you should be able to see like you can see I'm able to move here, move there, like you can see me move, right? So okay.
Oh.
So it's as if you have something like this. Do you see this?
Yes.
This is what you have, like we can't see the bottom. Now I want you to put this up. So you're going to minimize on the script window so that you sort of like enlarge this. You should have something like this which can move like this. So
Okay.
share your screen. Sorry, we didn't intend to take this much time, but we can't.
Sorry about that.
Behind.
So like this, do I keep
Yes, leave
moving?
it there because me, I want to see the bottom of your console. Leave it there, don't worry. Now You run line 17 and line 18. Okay, first just run line 17.
That's what I've done.
You're sure you've run? Okay, yeah, now it has happened. Okay. Then run line 18. Okay, and it says it's numeric. And then it keeps reducing. Oh, okay. I want to come to the bottom of this screen. Maximize this window. Can you maximize RStudio? You see where you click close, that X, there's that other square button. Can you click the square button? Square.
I've
No.
clicked. Okay,
out.
now I can. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, you are not maximizing the window. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, now reduce that. No, we just want to be sure it has worked. Reduce this window so that we can also now get this scrolling. There's a scrolling road here.
I have it now. It has come.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you. Someone has asked a question and they're saying, Shakira, how different is class function from type of function? Class function from type of. Oh, I've actually never used type of, to be sincere. But let's see, what does it do? Type of, I think it's the same thing when you read English. No, it's different. It says type of age is double. Now, had I changed it? Let me see. Numeric double. Now that's different. That's different because let's say if I make it 0.1, type of may give me float. Class is that? It's still double. Type of is different. Double is a totally
You're
different.
not sharing.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Type of is different. It's not a data type, and usually the double kinds of data, even Stata has it. I do not know if I can really explain this in the simplest way possible, but all I can say is when for example I have changed this to float, it's a float now. Of course, class wise it's numeric because it's still a number, but then when I check like the type of what's the type of age, and then it says that age is double. Now there are differences. Those are like some other subgroups of further describing numeric data. I don't know how to explain this in the simplest language. However, it's another way of another way of describing numeric data, and it's sort of like stored in a particular way, because also when you go to like Stata, they'll tell you, okay, this is numeric, and then it's a double data type. But in terms of its storage, it's more of a 64-byte floating point number or decimal. Well, the double thing is more about storage. How is it stored? Is it like an 8-byte? Is it like a 64 bits? Like, what is it? And that's where we get down into the double and the different things, but it is not like a data type. It's another way of further categorizing or classifying the numeric data types. Yeah. So here we had an assignment of changing age from being numeric to character. So I'll just say age is equal to as.character. As.character age. So if I check age, you'll see it's enclosed within single double quotes. If I check the class of age, running this will give me that now age is its character. Okay. The other data type that we went to was the integer. It's the integer. We said that for us to be able to clearly differentiate integers from numerics, we use L. We use that capital L. So I'll say, for example, cells, let's say, I made cells of 1000. So I'll put L. If I check, if I just colon cells, it will return a number without L. But if I check the class of cells, it will tell me that cells is of class integer. Without L, if I dare remove L, for example, sorry. If I dare remove L, if I call this _1, if I remove L and run this, it will not recognize it as an integer, but rather as numeric. So it's always important that if you're referring to an integer, you're being specific, like, and we said integers are whole numbers. Assuming I have again age of a child and it's in months. Let's say I'll say age underscore child, and it's in months, and let's say they're let's say it's in years and months. So they are 1 year and 6 months, right? If I check the class of age, right? It's of course going to be numeric. However, I can say that I want to change this to an integer, right? And see what happens. So I'll say age of a child is equal to as dot integer. As dot integer, age for the child. If I check the class for age of the child, if I also first call for it here, you see that it looks different. Initially, it's 1.6. If I convert it to an integer, it drops everything right after the decimal point. It doesn't round off, it doesn't round up, rounding down, it doesn't do all those things. It will just return a 1. And when I ask for that class, it tells me that that's an integer. Okay. The other is we went down to character. We have only 7 minutes. Went down to character. I'll say maybe I said dog. And I say my dog is brown in color. Right? My dog is brown in color. If I just check dog and class of dog, if I run this, tells me that's character, it's text. Then how about if I say fruit? Fruit. Maybe my favorite fruit is an apple. Right? Favorite fruit is apple. If I check fruit, and then class of fruit. Say character. How about if I change the data type from being a character to being a factor? Okay, so what I do is I'll say fruit is equal to as dot factor. Fruit. So that when I check the class of fruit, actually, if I just call on fruit here, fruit, just to check, and then I check the class of fruit, we expect that fruit has changed from being a character to being a factor. And even you can see when I check fruit, right? It doesn't come enclosed in these double quotes that character was. It's now just apple, and then it even tells you that you only have one level, and the level is apple. Okay, so for the interest of time, we only have 5 minutes to the top of the hour. I'll leave the remaining 5 minutes for you to ask any questions if you have, or for you to let me know if you are challenged in one or the other before we can close this class. Is everything fine? Okay. Yes, Martin? All right, I'll assume that silence means everything is okay. I'll share the recording for today's class and let's touch base again next week. Next week is quite, I intend to have a conference. I'll let you know. I'm not sure if I'll be around. If I'm around, we'll have that class, but I'll let you know. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good afternoon. Bye. See you when we meet
Thank
again.
you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Let me also maybe get to your inbox for addition.